If I care. Hey everybody, it's Ace Attorney time. Hold on. I need to open this thingy. Tonight will not be the finale. Don't fucking ask, Mall Guy, if you're here.
Wow. Wow, really aggro.
Yeah.
Well, guys,
That's
just
how I
working
roll
on this
sometimes.
crocheting, dude.
Sometimes
Leave
I'm
him
just
alone.
really mean. I'm a bitch. Final chapter.
I'm
in
a
very bad
lover,
cursive.
I'm a
The
child,
resolve of
I'm a
Ryonousuke
mother,
Naruhodo.
I'm a sinner, I'm a saint.
I don't know if I've ever spelled Ryonousuke's name correctly.
I've never even tried to write it out, so I got me bit.
3rd November, 9:14 a.m. The
Ugh.
Old Bailey's
Whoa!
Defendant Santa Chamber.
You gotta do like a roller coaster. What?
So, the time's finally come. Today,
Good for the time.
we unravel everything.
Me when I've got a ball of yarn.
I'll be counting on your support more than ever today, Miss Susato. I'm not on the right screen. There's nothing on the screen right now.
Oh.
There we go. Fixed
You're
it.
streaming nothing?
It's alright. It's fine.
It's
Miss Susato? Ah! Why?
Oh no! What's the matter, Mr. Naruhodo? You look like a dumb bitch who got his shit rocked.
Nothing. I was just saying that I'll be relying on your support today, but...
I'm so sorry. Of course, I know I can be rather incompetent at times, but I shan't let you down.
Would you mind helping me to my feet, then?
Oh dear, I'm really very sorry.
Thanks for doing nothings, court security guard guy. Susato-san isn't her usual self at all.
Guy in the background's just like, why would I help? It was funny.
Well, that's hardly surprising, I suppose. She's just found out that her father is the partner of a world-famous detective. Not to mention...
Good morning, sir.
Lord Van Zeeks. Why are you surprised to see me?
I'm literally your client right now. Thank you for all your efforts yesterday.
What? Did I hear that correctly?
What?
Oh, no, nothing. Just, I hope we can clear things up today. I really can't make this man out. His face says I hate you, but his words are almost jovial today. In fact, he hasn't been very Reaper-like at all since this all began yesterday.
Lord Van Zeeks isn't the Reaper, Mr. Naruhodo.
Good point.
The Reaper? I suppose in hindsight, I shouldn't have allowed that misconception to go unchallenged.
You know, and if looking back on the whole thing, perhaps I shouldn't have pretended to be a serial killer for 8 years. Huh?
You know, I'm starting to think it was unwise of me to be like, oh, people think I'm a killer? I'll just roll with it. I probably shouldn't have gone with the flow, as the kids say. Soon they'll be thinking I'm some sort of creature of the night. It was my tacit acceptance of that pseudonym. My failure to stop the Reaper becoming something more than a mere legend that led to all this. But you're not to blame for that, Lord Van Zeeks.
It's only because serious crime in the capital dropped off so sharply that the public started calling you that. When the public started calling you that. That's why you didn't say anything, isn't it?
To be frank, turns into a hot dog.
Wow.
To quote 2 Chainz, I'll buy a hot dog stand if I'm trying to be frank. I'm not sure that was the sole reason.
What do you mean?
There was a rumor at the time that the Reaper was really the ghost of my late brother. Ghosts? Ghosts aren't real, and they never will be. that having been slain by that evil killer, Clint's restless spirit returned as some sort of demigod. To wield the deadly blade of justice where I, by dint of the law, could not.
Yes, we've heard that story too.
Then I lost him. I felt as though I'd lost my guiding light. I didn't know where to go or what to do. And so, in some small way, I wonder if perhaps these rumors made me feel his absence a little less keenly. Or maybe I just thought it was a cool name. I mean, the Reaper, right?
pretty
It sounds
cool.
like I would have shotguns and spin in a circle.
Wee!
Wee! I forgot what his voice line was. Death something.
Die.
Right. Ah, that's what it was. Yes, thank you, voice that sounds vaguely like me. Even if I knew it was just an illusion. Just some nonsense conjured up by an over-imaginative public. He was obviously extremely important to you. Lord Clint Van Zeeks.
Well, what's important now is uncovering the truth. That's all that matters. I know that you didn't take anyone's life.
Well,
And
that's right. I'm not a vampire.
And I intend to prove that beyond a shadow of a doubt in the court today.
I never thought I'd say this. But I can see it in your eyes. I can hear it in your smile. And that burning desire to cut through all the lies and deception. I can't deny it any longer. You are a lawyer of absolute integrity.
Thank you.
Really felt like he was going somewhere else with that. Now tell me, why do I detect the scent of expensive tea leaves in the air?
I was gonna say probably Iris related. Oh, Iris, when did you get here?
Oh,
Ah, I brought you one of my special blends. Hurley loves it. He says it helps him to clear his head.
I thank you, small child.
Oh, hee hee. That's surely the first and last time I'll ever see a sight like this. You seem different today, Iris. Oh? Sort of subdued, I suppose.
Yeah, it's
I
nice.
am
You should be
not.
this way all.
What happened yesterday is obviously still playing on her mind a lot. She's clearly very troubled about having stolen that autopsy report from Dr. Sai's laboratory. All right then. Good luck to you both. I have to make a move now. Oh.
Oh, you're not staying?
I thought you'd want to watch today's proceedings. They surely wouldn't let a child into the audience. Well, I'd like to cheer you on, obviously. But I've got lots to get ready. Get ready? For what? Oh, yes. Would you like to take this? Aw, that's adorable. Isn't that one of the little felt dolls that's usually dangling from your knapsack? Yes, it's a lucky charm. A little Hurley that I made once. A Hurley? It looks more like a Harley to me. It's because it's a rabbit.
Harley Davidson.
For some reason, you completely run out of options, and if for some reason you completely run out of options in the trial today, then just pull this little Hurley's ears as hard as you possibly can. What?
It's a bomb.
Pull his ears. That's right. It's a way to bring good luck. I think you might need it.
And by good
Iris'
luck, she means
lucky
it's a
charm.
bomb.
It's a bomb.
It's gonna
Iris'
blow up
lucky
the
charm has
court.
been entered into the court record.
You think what we'll need is luck?
I just sneaked a peek inside the courtroom, and it seemed very different to normal.
Yes, it would seem that a certain someone has decided to pull out all the stops.
What does that mean?
What about Mr. Sholmes, Iris?
I don't know. He was out all night and he hadn't come home by the time I left this morning.
Oh. I see.
Was Professor Mikotoba out all night too, do you think, Mr. Sato?
Yes, it would seem so. I telegrammed the hotel this morning. And apparently they didn't come back to their rooms last night at all.
Yugoku either. Were they?
Father and Judge Jigoku, I mean.
Shigoku too.
That's right. Nobody appears to have seen either of them since yesterday.
Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court is about to be in session. Please make your way inside the courtroom at once. That's probably a series wrap on us. Goodbye. Good luck then, Bruno. Good luck, Susie. Yes, thanks, Iris. That's me. And you, Mr. Reaper. I hope it goes well.
You took a long time to think about that one. Once again, I thank you for the delicious tea. It was very soothing.
Oh, I'm so glad.
We must go inside now, Lord Van Seeks. No, I don't
Nah.
want to.
He just leaves.
I turned into a bat.
Lord
Not a
Van Zieks
vampire.
has always been formidable.
I can do that.
Lord Van Zieks has always been a formidable prosecutor I've had to lock horns with in court. But not today. Today I battle with another in pursuit of the truth. My best friend, Kazuma Asugi, whom I trust more than anyone else in the world. Now I understand what it was that drew me here to Britain all those months ago. Now I know exactly what destiny had in store for me. It's all been leading up to this one day, to this one trial, to this one final reckoning.
Dude, I just got an ad on our stream for Fruity Pebbles, the cereal. I didn't know they
Wild.
still made ads for Fruity Pebbles, the cereal.
There's a certain point.
Doesn't
at which
everyone know?
Yeah. There's a certain
Well, like
point
that's a part of marketing. Like once you have a saturated market, you like stop doing ads usually.
Yeah, that's the
Is
thing
Fruity
that always
Pebbles not there?
baffling me about marketing. Every time I see a commercial for like Doritos, still I'm like, is there anybody that doesn't know about Doritos? 3rd November, 9:30 a.m. The Old Bailey courtroom. So I got possessed for a second. Feels even more oppressive here than it did yesterday. There are cold stares piercing me like knives from all sides today.
Ah, Mr. Naruto, look.
Whoa!
Yeah,
Excuse
there he
me,
is.
Lord
I was waiting for
Strongheart.
it.
Kazuma
Guess
must have
that
known
means that was
beforehand.
Guess that means it was a series wrap on me last week. Goodbye.
Kazuma must have known beforehand.
Implications this trial now extend far beyond the murder of one Scotland Yard inspector. In fact, events have come to light that threaten to rock the very foundations of our country's legal system. The escape of a condemned criminal on the night of his execution, the subsequent unlawful shooting of the man, and the revelation that prison staff must have been complicit in the jailbreak. Britain is currently hosting influential members of the judiciary from countries all over the world. It's imperative that we uncover the truth in these proceedings to avoid international embarrassment. By royal decree, this will continue to be a closed trial. And one over which I, Bale Strongheart, exercise total and unequivocal authority. Guilty.
The 6 jurors' flames just...
As was the case in yesterday's proceedings, those here present in the public gallery are distinguished members of our judiciary assembled to bear witness to a fair judicial process. In other words, a collection of your acolytes, Lord Strongheart. On a personal note, I find this most distressing, Lord Van Zieks.
I'm all guy. We're not gonna finish tonight. Don't ask. And hell yeah, get those crocheting materials.
Hell yeah, Mala guy. That was quick.
Maybe he can also throw a rock and find a hobby store.
Yeah, maybe. Get to crocheting, crochet boy. You are a prosecutor of exceptional talent. Much like your brother Clint, in fact.
Get my brother's name out of your damn mouth.
Whoa.
Whoa.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session.
I was wondering how he would involve himself in the final trial. I didn't expect him to be the judge.
Pigeons, 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 damn.
Aww.
For the trial of Beric von Zieks, who stands officially accused of murder. Counsels for the prosecution and the defense, are you in full readiness to proceed?
The defense is ready, my lord.
As is the prosecution. Yesterday's proceedings brought to light a shocking and disturbing fact. There was a side to the victim, Inspector Tobias Gregson, that was unknown to his superiors at Scotland Yard. Yes, he was carrying out operations in secret, which Scotland Yard knew nothing about. And in those clandestine operations, he had an accomplice. Mr. Daly Vigil, who would be given the inspector's identification and present himself around the capital in order to establish credible alibis for Gregson. In that way, Gregson appeared to be carrying out his regular Scotland Yard work, when in fact he wasn't. At the end of yesterday's session, Mr. Vigil, who had been suffering from amnesia, regained his memory. It would appear he buried his memories of the time deep inside himself as a means of self-preservation. Because whilst he was engaged as chief warder at Barclay Prison, he abetted the convict's escape. Mr. Vigil is currently recuperating at St. Sinners. The one hospital ever.
The only hospital.
He's recovered enough to give a signed statement about his movements on the day prior to the incident. He's formally admitted to posing as Gregson while investigating the Red-Headed League. Which brings us to the crucial issue of the victim's time of death. The defense yesterday proposed a suggestion that the victim may have been killed one day earlier. This was based largely on the discovery that the victim's pocket watch had not been wound. The prosecution has something to report on that subject, my lord. Really? Go ahead, Prosecutor Ryonousuke. I met once again with the coroner yesterday to discuss the issue. She confirmed that the defense's suggestion could not be ruled out.
Huh. We did that too.
It's entirely possible that Inspector Gregson was killed on 31st October, the day before his body was discovered. Much like Harry Houdini, I have here an updated autopsy report.
No, I have that one too. You're not special.
That includes the amended details. But the official opinion of the investigation team was made clear yesterday that the time of death was 5 p.m. on 1st November. There are indications of an attempt to disguise the real time of death, however. It seems that the natural decaying process of the victim's body may have been slowed by keeping it chilled. That's out of the question. There are no refrigeration devices in that part of London large enough to accommodate a human corpse.
My lord, this is more than just conjecture. There's evidence to support the idea. We must investigate it thoroughly.
Very well. The court will accept the new report as evidence. However, if this updated report is deemed to be accurate, it would give renewed significance to the movements of the victim on the day before the Fresno Street incident. It would, yes. Especially since on that day, Inspector Gregson was using Mr. Vigil to cover up his real movements. It's conceivable he was killed in the course of his secret activities. Though I sense that the prosecution has some information regarding those activities. Scotland Yard put an enormous effort into investigating that precise matter yesterday. I think we should begin by presenting the results of that investigation work. So the prosecution calls its first witness now. Your mother.
Hey, Lena. That's not your name. Gina.
Gina?
I fucking...
Lena?
Lena Distraught, you know.
Lena... Oh, my name? It's Lena Distraught in
it, governor.
I'm all apples and pears about that. Hold on, who am I again? Alright. State your name and occupation for the court.
Inspector Gina Lestrade reporting. Representative of Scotland Yard. Are you the only person that they could send? I know you're the only character in the video game, but...
A self-conferred rank, but never mind.
Gina, again?
We rearrange again, it's Gina with an extra A.
Whoa. What's your problem, Otto? What's with that Gina again, look, eh? Ah. The boss meant the world to me. He done more for me than anyone else ever did.
What? Oh? Inspector Gregson, you mean?
He got me out of the back slums of the East End and took me under his wing. Taught me that life can have a purpose. So that's why I'm the best person to be standing here speaking for him.
Oh, Gina.
Right, all out of the goodness of Gregson's heart. Not at all that he had his arm twisted by Mr. Sholmes, no.
What's relevant to these proceedings is that the outcome of Scotland Yard's investigations yesterday has revealed that the victim was carrying out some assignment the police knew nothing about. Very troubling.
That face. Lord Strongheart knew.
So, Inspector Lestrade. Let's hear exactly what it says in that report.
Coming right up, sir. This whole, like, trial now has a very, like, cat and mouse thing that I'm really loving. All yard detectives are supposed to follow orders, investigate what they're told. Well, a little search of the boss's office turned up a notebook that had a load of secret meetings in it. According to that, the boss was looking into some smuggled goods dealings that day. Looks like it was a big job and all, but the coppers weren't onto it yet. What matters most is, there's witnesses what say saw the Reaper at that place too. Smuggled goods? I don't know, do I? I'm just telling you what was written in a book.
Tobacco, tea, spices, medicines. And then a mysterious Formula X. Goods of all sorts flow into London by illegal channels from across the globe. It's well known that they're disposed of at regular black markets that take place in the capital. But the police are rarely able to locate them in time.
So Inspector Gregson was investigating one of those black markets?
It's been suggested that high-ranking government officials may be involved in black market activity. No doubt Gregson was trying to avoid the details of his investigations being leaked to the involved parties. That would explain why he is operating on his own authority without the Yard's knowledge.
And do we know where the dealings were taking place this time?
In a particular room of a certain exclusive London gentleman's club. And on the day in question, the accused is known to have been there. That's the conclusion of Scotland Yard's investigation into the matter.
That can't be. We haven't heard anything about any of this.
Members of the club have testified to it. There's no question. The accused, Barak Van Zeeks, was present. That would be very significant testimony then. Oh my, but... Lord Van Zeeks made no mention of this. At all. In short, Lord Van Zeeks had ample opportunity to murder the victim.
Stop looking so smug over there.
Bing. Very well then. Counsel for the defense. Begin your cross-examination.
I don't like how you're looking at me.
It's just my rest in
Cross-examination.
this face.
Victim's movements. Our text is supposed to follow orders and investigate what they're told. Hold it! So, you follow orders, do you, Gina? Nah, not me. I'm above all that, see? Oh. The boss always has special orders for me. Grab us some fish and chips, or go and give Toby his grub, that kind of thing. So Aaron's more of an orders then.
This detective is still an apprentice after all.
Yeah, well, this apprentice ain't want to sit around and wait to be told what to do, even by the boss. That's why I've been doing my own investigations into what happened. I didn't find much at first. We'll search the boss's office, blah blah notebook. Hold it! In it. Hold it.
In it.
So you went through Inspector Gregson's things? Yup, as part of the independent Lestrade investigation. I'm sure your superiors would be delighted that you're taking the initiative. So I snuck into his office when no one else was about. Was if anyone in the yard had seen me going in there, they'd have turfed me straight out on the street. This is sounding less and less like an investigation and more like something else.
The prosecution understands that it was this very detective who discovered the notebook.
You go right. Nothing gets past Inspector Lestrade and her trusty assistant, Chief Inspector Toby.
That makes it sound like a Toby's higher
Yeah,
rated than
I
you.
know. We found it in one of his desk drawers there at a false bottom. That's impressive. So then I went to hide myself when no one could find me so I could have a butcher's at what was written in it. Because if anyone at the yard had found me out, they'd have turfed me straight out on the street.
That's how you keep saying.
I'll get it in now though, ain't I? And if it weren't for me, it would never have been found. That boss is looking into some smuggled goods dealings. You have any idea where those dealings were taking place? Yup. It was all here in the boss's notes. Let's see if I can remember.
As I already said, the illegal dealings were due to take place at a gentleman's club.
Yes, I remember, but I was hoping to find out the name of the club.
That won't be necessary.
What?
It's conceivable that the club might be used again by the smugglers in the future. Therefore, the prosecution has been asked not to reveal the name in these proceedings.
I don't know what all the fuss is about. It's right here. All I gotta do is read it out. And I could too. I've got this reading game buttoned up now.
I've learned me words.
Can I show you what I can do? Come on, what's the arm? The judge hasn't signaled his objection yet. I could try to find out. What should I do?
Oh, if I insist.
I mean, we must know.
I hope it's got cock in it.
This is a closed court. The proceedings are confidential. There shouldn't be any possibility of that information being leaked.
As I explained, there's some possibility of politicians being involved in this affair. The prosecution is rightfully exercising caution, I imagine. No, my lord. The prosecution has no objection.
Kazuma?
There's no question that Inspector Gregson was looking into these black market dealings. However, it's not yet been established that he was on that particular trail on the day in question. If the defense requires to know the club's name, the prosecution has no intention of being obstructive.
Damn. Right then. I'll get to show off my reading skills.
Says something that's not words.
Apparently, smuggled goods deal was going to happen at a gentleman's club called the Grouse. That doesn't mean
Like a
anything
bird.
to me, but we're gonna press it anyway. The grouse. What sort of a club is that?
Gentlemen,
I ain't got the foggiest. Clubs ain't exactly my thing. But I am kind of curious.
they're not places where a foreign student like you, or me, I guess, would be readily admitted.
Have you looked in the mirror recently? I'll tell you what. Me and Chief Inspector Toby could go in undercover. Could you, though? I could pick out a good few marks and see what I could find out while I was in there. I really don't think you should go picking out anything. Anyway, that's where these black market dealings were going to take place, is it? Yeah, it's gotta be. That's what the lower ranking detectives of the yard reckon. There's the even lower ranking detective.
She's kind of not even ranked, technically.
She's not even really a detective. Looks like it was a big job and the coppers went onto it. Hold it! So how did Inspector Gregson come to find out about it in that case? That's the question, ain't it? But I'm just an apprentice, so... And why didn't he inform Scotland Yard of his findings? Yeah, that's what I was asking myself, because, you know, I'm just an apprentice. When it suits you, yes. Anyway, the point is, something went on at that club, no question. You can't say that for certain, though, surely.
Won't I, my Shirley? It's Lena Distraught.
Hold it! Hold it. Lord Van Zeeks was at the club?
He was.
Getting turned?
He was getting turned at the. He was doing shots at the club. In the club, we're all fam. Detectives who visited the club yesterday, on their own time, to make inquiries, have confirmed it. We went to the club and there was already detectives there, hard at undercover work. Several members report having seen the accused being admitted to the room in question as a guest.
Looks like there's no disputing that he was there then.
Well, we know that Lord Van Zeeks was investigating Inspector Gregson, don't we? Perhaps he'd already discovered the inspector's secret notebook.
Which led him to the club, you mean? Maybe. Presumably, then, there are also eyewitnesses who can testify that Gregson was there.
None have been identified at this time, no.
But the all-important victim wasn't seen at this mysterious club. Boy, why'd you ask Inspector Lestrade here, eh?
I'm
That's
sorry,
all
there's
I've
an
got to work
Inspector
with.
Lestrade here?
Gina's not holding back with that ice-cold stare of hers, is she?
I really don't know what to make of all this.
Lord Van Zeeks told us he was investigating Inspector Gregson, but he never once mentioned that he met the inspector the day before the incident.
You don't think Lord Van Zeeks could have been lying to us, do you?
That's not the only way to explain this.
Oh?
If everything Lord Van Zeeks has told us is true, then there must be a mistake in this testimony somewhere.
You mean there are details we've yet to uncover?
Exactly. A clue, perhaps, that even Gina hasn't noticed. That's where we should be looking for here. Right? Do we have anything?
Yeah, let's look through our records.
Let's see here.
Now that we know the grouse.
Passport from Gregson. This is nothing. Then 1 week from 31st October. Okay, that's not... I was hoping that would be like that day. Is there anything inside here?
Not anymore.
Let's have a look inside. Yeah, it was just that note.
It was the
Everything,
past,
everything
yeah.
else is unimportant. And also that there's a chunk of metal wedged in here. And blood on the side of it. Can we pop this bad boy open? I doubt that'll help either. I suppose that we should see what this inspector's identification looks like inside. Yeah, I don't think anything in here is gonna help. Because the grouse doesn't mean anything to me. I haven't heard that name. Yeah, we really don't have anything. Unless it's on either of these things, but I don't think so. Because this was on the back of a Steam shit ticket, but that's different.
Steam shit.
Steam shit.
What about the newspaper?
Health report, Red-Headed League, St. Bartholomew's Hospital. Ah, there is another one.
No, I don't believe it.
Let's do the one. No, I don't see anything in here. I really don't know.
Well, time to pull on that rabbit.
we're stuck. Help. I'll search the bosses off, turned up a notebook that had a load of secret meetings. Smuggled goods deal is
Try
gonna
pressing
happen.
on this again?
Hold it!
I don't. The Grouse sort of club. They were just like, hey,
Yeah.
it's a gentleman's club for rich people. Yeah. Because we pressed everything.
We've pressed everything.
This was the only new information we got, so it's got to be something with this. I think. Yes. Oh, we can look at this, I guess. Help.
Click on him.
Help. I can't find anything out of place. Well, then why'd you let me click there?
What a charming little rabbity version of Mr. Sholmes. Do you suppose this is how Iris sees him? Are you alright, Mr. Naruto? Your eyes are veritably boring into the poor doll's ears.
Oh, sorry. I was just wondering. What do you suppose would happen if I were to tug its ears with all my might right now?
I'm sure that we'll find out when the time is right. To become a proper gentleman, you really must learn stoic patience.
But I want to know. Me too. I check his little rabbit bag. I look up his little... Oh, God. They're just fused into his robe.
Stop upskirting the little rabbit homes, dude. That's fucked up. What was this again?
This is the passport that was found inside that box. It is a passport for data departure within a week from the 31st of October on police business for him and one additional person.
Okay.
He was going to France. That was his thing that he told us that he was going... I'm pretty sure he said he was going without Gina and not to tell her, if I recall. Nothing about a grouse in here, is there? That would be insane. No. Nothing particularly grousey in here.
Nothing.
I've genuinely no idea.
Nothing Grousian.
Because the rest of this... Witnesses who saw the Reaper at the place. But we don't have anything that proves that Van Zieks was somewhere else. I have no fucking idea.
Let's go from the top again.
Sure. Evidence, you mean?
Evidence, yeah.
Armband. Nothing, I assume. This.
This seems to be nothing. Well, wait, wasn't this the 31st of October? Oh, no, because he sent Daly to investigate this. But then why
To
was he wearing
investigate,
the
quote,
wig?
unquote, then. Yeah.
Is it something with that? Does she have a sentence about, like...
Notebook got a lot of secret meetings, supposed to follow orders. Coppers weren't onto it yet. Matters most is witnesses what saw the Reaper there.
That's it, huh?
Yeah, I have no idea, dude.
Because I was gonna say...
We don't have any proof that the Reaper was somewhere else.
Because if he sent Daly to the Red-Headed League meeting, why did he have a wig?
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't know how to bring that up here.
Got no idea.
Let's go back to the evidence.
Alright. Picture of Mr. Daly.
Nothing.
He appears to have no particularly distinctive facial features. Letter of introduction. The back of this is a steamship ticket. Did we ever written on the back of a ticket for passage on a steamship? Because I think this was the steamship that the brothers were supposed to get on or something. Although this says it was on 9/11. Wait a minute. Which would have been like a month beforehand.
Well, this was from Mikitoba, wasn't it?
Yes. Dismissal notice. Nothing as far as I can tell.
You didn't go to page 3.
The page 3? There is a page 3.
There's nothing there.
Alright,
But
well.
now we know. Okay. Photo of wife, nothing.
Photo of wife, nothing.
Gun, nothing.
Gun. Yeah, nothing. Policeman figure. Makes a key when you twist him. Not letting me skip this dialogue, which is weird.
Oh, was that new? Now
Yeah.
this charming policeman figure appears to be worse for wear.
The head part looks like it's fairly heavily manual. It stands to reason, really, doesn't it? I mean, it gets turned around and around every day.
I hope it doesn't fall off in the end. Keep
Yeah.
turning it until it breaks.
Turn it until it break. So this is the little key used to wind the inspector's pocket watch.
It was a mystery at first. Why should it be a policeman, I mean? But it's because it was a gift from Scotland Yard in recognition of Inspector Gregson's hard work.
If its head did fall off from overuse, it might seem a little inappropriate, don't you think?
That's the British sense of humor for you, I think. Okay.
This anything?
Oh, it looks like this is some sort of steamship ticket. The SS Grouse. Yes,
Why didn't it
first
say
class
that?
cabin 001. I was wondering, I was gonna ask if we were going to click on the front of this ticket because it was blinking bright blue. But I got distracted by the date 9/11.
Yeah. Oh, that's when
Did
I
you
left
look it up?
Yokohama. Maybe.
I could tell because you stopped talking suddenly when we were on the key part. I'm like, Steven's Googling it. And then you instantly went back to the ticket.
I was lost, man.
Yeah, but we were working on it. We were almost here. You just had to be more patient. Because I was going to bring up clicking on this ticket. When we were running out of options, I was like, well, we didn't click on the front of that ticket, ever.
You got me there.
Yokohama departure, 11th September. London arrival, 1st November.
Ah, that's the boat that Professor Mikitoba and Judge Chigoku came on from Japan, isn't it?
Yes, I think it's called at Dunkirk on the north coast of France for a night before finally arriving in Dover.
I think it's been almost a year since we arrived in Dover on the SS Borea. Seems a shame not to keep your ticket as a memento of your trip, don't you think?
Yes, I agree. I have mine safely in my diary.
And I keep mine in my wallet, so I have it with me at all times.
Oh, we didn't
Oh,
see
well,
this
how
part.
strange. Where could it have gone?
Are you like this on purpose, Mr. Naruto?
Did I imagine it, or was that comment accompanied by a little sigh?
Because see, now it has the check mark.
What?
I
Oh,
assume
you
we
meant
just present that.
SS Grouse, is this anything? Gentleman club called the Grouse. Objection? I've read about these clubs that exist here in Britain. As I understand it, they're places where well-to-do gentlemen socialize with friends and colleagues.
Don't imagine for a second that a foreign student like you would be admitted.
Seriously, is your mirror cracked or something? Do we know for sure that the contraband dealings were definitely happening at a club called the Grouse?
The police are currently looking for evidence, but haven't found anything definitive yet.
And I'm sorry to say that they probably won't.
What do you mean by that?
I mean that the place Inspector Gregson was secretly going to visit on the 31st October may not have been a gentleman's club at all.
You're showing a very irreverent attitude towards our country's police force there, Counsel. If it wasn't a gentleman's club, then what was it?
Boat. A steamship.
You think it's a ship?
I have the evidence to prove it. Here!
Let me see that.
He just eats it. No, you don't.
This dark-suited young man is not in the least bit untrustworthy.
The other side, my lord.
Be more specific next time. Ah, this would appear to be a ticket for passage upon a steamship, yes. The SS Grouse.
Objection!
So there's a steamship named the Grouse that happens to share a name with the club. But I'm afraid to say, there's a flaw in your logic there.
How?
That it wouldn't have been here 31st October?
Yeah.
Look at the ticket. Notice the date of arrival in port. The ship arrived at the port of Dover on 1st November. Ah. The day on which the sound like a gunshot was heard on Fresno Street. In other words, on the day in question here, October 31st, when the victim was on his clandestine mission, that ship hadn't yet docked on British shores. That would certainly make an undercover investigation somewhat challenging.
Objection! The fact that the steamship hadn't yet reached Britain substantiates the defense's assertion that the victim was investigating the SS Grouse on the day in question. What the fuck are you talking about?
I assume he means the passport.
Yeah.
He was investigating it in
Yeah.
the north of France. Then show your evidence for that assertion.
Very well.
In that case, counsel for the defense, present your evidence to the court now. Evidence that substantiates your claim that the victim was investigating the SS Grouse on 31st October.
That'd be this, I assume.
It's the passport, yes? Because the port of
I think so.
Dunkirk is where the steamship was.
Right. Yeah.
So Sauter said
Within 1 week from the 31st of October, yeah.
Take
Eh?
that!
Take that?
What's this? A passport for travel issued to the victim. Dated 31st October. What are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting that just 1 day before the inspector's body was discovered, there's a distinct possibility he wasn't even in the country.
Ah! Order! Order! This document is for the passage to France. It doesn't appear to have been officially authorized. Or it does appear to have been officially authorized.
A day before the SS Grouse arrived at Dover, it docked on the northern coast of France for a night.
According to my father, who was on board, all the windows of the boat were covered in bricks. At the port of Dunkirk. Dunkirk, France. What could possibly have taken the victim there? Ha 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 ha! I'm impressed, Ryonousuke Naruhodo. I certainly didn't expect you to get your hands on that passport.
What? You mean you knew about this?
Of course.
Of course, I know
I'm not.
everything.
I'm a good lawyer. The prosecution's strategy for this trial has been laid down by the Crown Prosecution Office. On the day before the incident, the victim was investigating contraband dealings at a London club. That's the outcome of the Scotland Yard's investigations, and the line the prosecution has been asked to follow. But personally, I don't agree. I think the prosecutor's office is trying to hide something.
What?
And now that you've expertly disproven their assertion, I intend to reveal what I believe that something to be.
Half expecting Strongheart to just throw him out.
Are you playing that, Prosecutor Osaki? A courtroom is a forum for the truth, my lord. Which is why it's my duty to present all the facts, without exception. Let me guess. This was your intention from the outset, wasn't it? The reason Inspector Gregson secretly made his way to the steamship docked in France on the day in question was to carry out a mission for the Reaper.
The Reaper? Shit.
What on earth are you saying, counsel? The prosecution made an assertion in court yesterday. Inspector Gregson was investigating the identity of the Reaper. When he discovered the location of the man's secret hideout, he was killed. And I'm sure everyone can imagine, by the Reaper's hand. But in reality, the truth is the opposite of that.
What?
Inspector Gregson wasn't investigating the Reaper at all. He was, in fact, acting for the Reaper.
So, you're saying the mission he was undertaking was...
Obviously, an assassination. Bjark van Zieks never carried out any of the actual killings. Whenever the Reaper's victims lost their lives, he always had a cast-iron alibi. Which tells us he must have had an accomplice. And you claim that was Inspector Gregson?
Hold it! What the hell do you think you're saying, eh? Oh, she did, I swear. My boss would never have done nothing like that.
And yet, when you consider all the facts, it all makes perfect sense.
No, it can't be.
We also arrived at the same conclusion, didn't we? That Inspector Gregson was operating as the Reaper.
Even so, there's no way that the person giving him his orders was Lord Van Zieks. No, the true Reaper is somebody else. Bjark von Zieks is not the Reaper.
A predictable response from someone who's advocating for the man.
And even if it's true that Gregson was operating as an agent of the Reaper, the suggestion that he went aboard the SS Grouse on an assassination mission doesn't follow at all.
Oh? You have some solid reason for doubting the assertion, do you, counsel?
Absolutely. It's very simple. On the day in question, nobody was killed aboard that steamship. Professor Mikotoba and Judge Shigoku were on that very ship. If someone had been assassinated, I'm certainly would have heard about it. What's so funny?
You're right, of course. No suspicious deaths were reported on board the ship. But I think perhaps you've missed the point. That's precisely why Inspector Gregson himself lost his life.
What?
Gregson did board the SS Grouse that night with the intention of dispatching his mark. But his mission ended in failure.
Failure?
It seems that the defense hasn't yet grasped a very important detail here.
What are you talking about? What detail?
Inspector Gina Lestrade,
Eh? What?
the victim's notebook that you read an excerpt from earlier. That doesn't contain details of secret investigations at all. It describes 10 years of assassination plots to be carried out by the Reaper of the Bailey.
You're lying. Even if all them bludgers what got taken out had it coming, the boss weren't the Reaper.
Poor Gina. There's no question that Tobias Gregson was heavily involved in the Reaper's activities. You may just be an apprentice, but if you spent any time at Scotland Yard, you must have heard the rumors.
I ain't heard nothing, and I don't believe a word of it.
Then testify again. as representative of Scotland Yard. Consider it your chance to defend your boss.
I don't.
I concur. The witness will give a new formal testimony. Miss Lestrade, you will tell the court everything you know about Inspector Gregson's secret notebook.
Witness testimony. The Reaper's notebook.
You only looked up the ticket, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Damn.
We were stuck, and I didn't scroll any farther than that.
We weren't stuck. I was literally like 1 minute from telling you to click on the ticket. Because I noticed it blinking, but I looked at the text on the physical image and went, nothing not there says grouse.
Yeah, that is also what I had done.
I should have said something, because I was like, oh, we could have clicked it.
Yeah, this notebook does have a load of stuff about what the Reaper got up to these past 10 years. Names of victims, dates and places and stuff. And the last entry there was 31st October. It said Grouse put a place on that date, and then the name of the mark. There was a note about him being a criminal what got away from a Reaper in court 10 years ago or something. Oh shit, that's why Jigoku hasn't been heard from.
Yep.
But honest, the boss didn't do none of it. It was just investigating the Reaper, that's all. I was thinking it's suspicious how he's just been gone for like a day and a half.
Yarp. Keep personal opinion out of your testimony, witness. We require only established fact here.
This must be so hard for her.
You can't deny it now. Surely, Ryonousuke and Hado.
What can't I deny?
At every time we touch, I get this feeling. The notebook contained the name of the final mark and the location where the assassination would take place. That's information that the victim could only have known if he was working for the Reaper.
Ah.
So, who was to be this final mark? Go ahead, Inspector Lestrade. Read the name for the court. The name that's written alongside the entry that mentions the grouse on 31st October.
Hey. Oh, how do you read this then? Reading's still not her strong suit. That ain't the problem, alright, Otto?
It's in Japanese.
It's a funny name. It ain't English. It's hard to read.
Huh.
So it's someone from overseas. Let me have a bash at it. Seishiro, is it?
Yeah. Seishiro.
Yeah, Seishiro.
Jigoku.
Jigoku, maybe? What? It can't be. Seishiro Jigoku?
Yep. But that's Judge Jigoku. Seishiro Jigoku? Certainly not an English name. You're right.
Objection, but that can't be right. I know Judge Jigoku. And I saw him the day before yesterday, here in London. So I know for a fact that man hasn't been assassinated.
As I said, the Reaper failed. You're really not getting this. Gregson missed his chance to kill his mark and returned to British shores. But the Reaper wouldn't tolerate the mistake. So he killed the inspector personally. The Reaper, of course, being the accused, Baruch Van Zeeks. It's an undeniably logical argument.
Kazuma, you planned for the trial to go this way all along, didn't you?
Hold it!
Holy shit! What? How did you... Yeah!
I forgive the discourtesy of filling my hallowed chalice, whilst I stand accused of murder.
Lord Van Zeeks?
The accused has no right to speak uninvited in court. You will return to the dock. Return me yourself, pretty boy! I say nothing of whether or not I'm the Reaper. That's the task of this court to decide. But there is one thing I can say unequivocally. Ow! That girl is no detective.
Hey, what? Nah, that's right, I'm an inspector.
Repeating rumors heard around the yard. Reading entries from a notebook of unconfirmed origin. That's not testimony. It's practically a script. No doubt the rest of the trial will go exactly as you've clearly planned. Your hatred of me is understandable. In your mind, I'm sure I'm the Reaper, who sent your father to the gallows all those years ago. But you're in danger of becoming a far more sinister Reaper yourself. By attempting to have me condemned with this feeble excuse for testimony. What did you say?
Mr. Naruto, this is our chance. Tackle
My
him.
lord, the defense requests that the defendant be allowed to speak. He may be privy to important information relating to the testimony just given by the witness. That fucking...
Very well. I'll make an exception and grant the request. The defendant may remain in the witness stand for the cross-examination.
Then allow me to toast the court's impartiality.
Don't raise your glass in my direction, sir. Counsel for the defense, begin the cross-examination immediately.
At once, my lord. I just had to give myself some slappies first. You know how it is. Cross-examination. Reaper's notebook. Notebook does have a load of stuff about what the Reaper got up to the past years. Hold it! In other words, it shows that Gregson was basically acting as the Reaper. Not you and all. That ain't the only explanation, is it? He could have been investigating the Reaper in secret, and the notebook said what he found out.
If I may.
The way he just slides the camera over to himself.
Excuse
Pardon me.
1 second.
Hey, Van Ziek's here. When originally people began referring to me as the Reaper, I didn't object. I believed the power to intimidate London's criminal classes into compliance with the law to be beneficial.
But you carried out your own investigations into the true identity of the Reaper, didn't you?
Yes, those investigations proved conclusively that Gregson was one arm of the Reaper.
One arm? What are you on about?
Like an octopus, the Reaper's victims are all extremely shrewd criminals at the top of their game. There's simply no way one person could have taken them on alone. The Reaper is an organization. With you at its head. I had spies at the yard keeping me abreast of Gregson's movements, letting me know when he was elsewhere. So I've been able to check the most recent entry in his book. I knew the location.
You knew it said grouse?
Believing it to be a reference to the Gentleman's Club, I went there on the day in question to investigate. Alone.
Ah, so that explains why several members of the club claim to have seen you there.
But, of course, the inspector was not there. Because at the time, he was making his way to the steamship docked on the northern coast of France. As shown by the passport found in the victim's metal trunk.
Ooh.
We didn't tell him where we found that.
We sure didn't.
Very well, then. Back to your testimony about the contents of this notebook.
Fine.
Is something wrong, Mr. Naruto? You seemed a little shocked by something a moment ago.
Oh, no, it's all right. I'm overthinking this, aren't I?
Nope.
You are not. Names of victim, dates of places, stuff. Hold it. Names of victims, dates, places, and stuff. What in particular? beats me. Well, besides the
Asashine.
victim's name, this another name kept cropping up. What other name was that? It's the one I told you yesterday. The same name, written over and over again. You mean... Asashine?
Fuck
Yeah,
that name
that's the
kills
one.
me, man.
It's-
It's so
sucks.
bad.
She's a friend of yours or something, isn't she? Were you even listening yesterday?
Asashine. The assassin. Oh, I just think... Guys, you're not going to believe this.
What? Like, a kidder, you mean?
Gregson was the tactician, the one who came up with the plan of attack. He investigated the marks thoroughly, finding out when they would be vulnerable, and who to use to get at them.
But the person actually executing his plans was someone else, you're saying? If that's true, then the Reaper does indeed start to sound like an organized group of vigilantes.
Ah, then perhaps what it said on the passport document. Permission for the applicant and one additional person to travel. Could that additional person have been...
Clearly the assassin, who was meant to take Seishiro Jigoku's life.
Gina, can you confirm that? Against the final entry that listed Grouse and Seishiro Jigoku, what name was written? Oh, well, that's the
wasn't
only entry that
Asashine.
didn't have a name next to it as it happens. What?
Yeah, she's dead, man. Remember?
It just had like a question mark or something there, I think?
In other words, Gregson himself didn't know the identity of the assassin in that case.
Yeah, because she's dead.
Wait,
In other words, Gregson himself didn't know the identity of the assassin in that case.
I didn't even know what you were waiting about until I have a second. I'm like, oh, wait a minute.
I used the entirely wrong voice.
but Gregson was the one making the plans, was he not?
Oh, how infuriating.
A nameless assassin.
Hold it!
Hold it. And you're saying that the mark listed was Seishiro Jigoku. Jesus Christ.
Why did you say Seishiro?
Seishiro Jigoku. That's what
Oh,
I
there it
said.
is.
Funny name, if you ask me. And I thought your name was Order. So pleased to have lost my crown there.
Mr. Jigoku is the presiding judge of Japan's Supreme Court of Judicature.
I remember the man. He came to our country as a visiting student 16 years ago.
Studying international law and diplomacy under your tutelage, Lord Strongheart.
That bearded young fella was a very able man, I must say.
The Lord Strongheart was Judge Jigoku's mentor.
I taught him everything I know about killing. I mean, if
I
I'm
mean,
not mistaken, he returned to Japan 10 years ago now. 10 years ago, after that fateful case. Precisely. In the aftermath of the Professor case, his repatriation was organized immediately. It's a mystery why such a man would be listed in the inspector's notebook.
I didn't think it was possible, but the mood in here has got even worse now. Maybe I'll just keep talking. What about him being a criminal who got away from the Reaper Court 10 years ago? Hold it! What do you mean a criminal? Judge Jigoku is no criminal. Well, don't ask me. I don't know nothing about it. I was 6 or something.
Oh, do you remember what Father told us? That Judge Jigoku did once appear in court here in Britain. It was related to the Professor case, I'm sure.
Yes, of course. You're right. Seishiro was trying to mitigate Genshin's guilt, so he took to the stand to testify. But he got a little carried away and, actually managed to break the witness stand. He also said some contemptuous words about the British Empire, for which he was charged.
It was a pitiful situation, yes. I'd forgotten all about it, but I prosecuted that trial too, as it happens.
You did?
It was considered to be an adjunct to the professor proceedings, you see. But he was acquitted after being told to make repatriation. Reparation for the damage. Sorry, we keep flipping between
Yeah.
those words. reparation for the damage he caused. And there you have it. Have what? It. Surely the accused hasn't forgotten his own rule. That there's no saving anyone who faces the Reaper in court, guilty or innocent alike.
What? No. Are you suggesting that the reason Judge Shigoku was targeted for assassination?
The man was sent back to Japan immediately after that trial. The Reaper had no time to do his work. But then, 10 years later, the mark returns to Britain once more. Perhaps now you start to see just how vindictive the Reaper is.
Come on, that's absurd. To take someone's life for that?
Isn't the whole premise of the Reaper absurd? Killing those who have been found innocent? Clearly the rules by which the man operates are beyond a sane person's comprehension.
But... Objection. Bro, I've had just about enough of this. Gina. All this nonsense about the boss planning to kill people. It's cobblers. Come on, Otto. Yes? Why aren't you saying nothing? What? Why aren't you yelling out objection or something? What? You gotta find a flaw, you do usually. Someone's lying here, no question. You gotta work out who it is. Please, for the boss.
No, I mean, he definitely was part of it, Gina. I'm sorry to tell you.
Sorry to tell you, that's a...
That outburst was an insult to the court and to your own testimony. I might have known that a common pickpocket from the back slums couldn't make a detective.
Damn, alright.
When this trial is over, you will forfeit your warrant card, Miss Lestrade. Is that clear?
I've had it with the lawyer. It's law is every bleeding place you look in this world, isn't it? Well, I've had enough.
Gina.
So have I. After that little speech of Gina's, I've made up my mind.
To do what, Mr. Naruto?
There was one point in this cross-examination when something that was said just didn't sit right with me. One statement that seemed odd.
Oh, do you mean?
I'm not going to let Gina's plea for help fall on deaf ears. Do I just present the box, I guess?
That would be my guess.
Objection.
Nope.
Nope, music didn't stop.
Okay, so maybe I press and then present the box.
Yeah, maybe we press first.
See no inconsistency there, do you? You could span the Straits of Dover with those wide eyes, Counsel. And be gone from this island forever, I hope.
You want me to fill the English Channel with tears? Press. I want to thank you, Gina. You helped me find my resolve.
What do you mean?
Amongst everything we've heard during this cross-examination, there's one thing that defies explanation. One inconsistency.
What? An inconsistency?
Really, Otto? I don't quite know what it means yet, but... Yes, there's an inconsistency in something that was said by...
Kazuma.
Fuck, is he all the way at the... Oh, he was at the beginning.
No, you went past him. He's on the second page.
Oh, there he is.
He's right there. He's right
Take
there.
that! By you, Kazuma Asugi.
Me?
Is this some attempt at filibustering, Counsel? Prosecutor Asugi has given no testimony.
What are you suggesting I said that was inconsistent?
You let something slip that you shouldn't have. When I present the relevant piece of evidence, I imagine you'll realize what you've done.
Very well then, Counsel. Go ahead. What evidence reveals this alleged inconsistency in something Prosecutor Asugi has said?
Now we show the box.
If it's not the box, it's the passport, but I imagine either one will do it.
I think either one should do it.
This is a trunk that belonged to Inspector Gregson.
We should have known to press first.
Yeah,
We
that's
should always press
that's
first.
on me.
You're so impatient.
I was thinking
How
too
about-
fast.
Metal construction, is it? It's certainly very heavy. What's this? A blood stain, and a relatively fresh one too.
How do you know that?
I can taste it.
What? You mean that ain't grease from all the boss's fish and chips?
She did think it was grease.
Huh?
Fresh blood on the inspector's trunk. That suggests that the victim was traveling with that luggage when he was killed.
That can't be. There's no mention of any trunk in Scotland Yard's report.
Yes, there's a reason for that. Immediately after the inspector's body was discovered, one of the street peddlers made off with the trunk, hoping to sell it. But all found it. Me, with my nose for trouble. Which means that nobody should have known anything about the trunk. Unless, of course, we're talking about somebody who was present when the victim was killed. And yet, during the cross-examination of the witness just now, you said this, Kazuma. Because at the time... No, go
What the fuck? I'm sorry, are you doing a thing?
I was doing a fake bit. I was doing a fake
Oh,
bit
okay.
to interrupt you. Go on.
Really threw me off. Because at the time he was making his way to the steamship docked on the northern coast of France, as shown by the passport found in the victim's metal trunk.
So the question is, how did you know about the inspector's trunk?
There's no stenographer, no one can prove I said that.
Huh?
We know the man went on a trip to France. Where else would he have put his passport?
Objection. But you knew it was a metal trunk. Answer me honestly, fuck. Answer me honestly, Kazuma. On 31st October, where exactly were you?
He was the +1. At the port of Dunkirk, on board the SS Grouse. Is that the answer you're looking for, Ryonousuke?
Kazuma, what did you... I hadn't considered the possibility before, but if Kazuma was there on the ship, then it can only have been for one purpose.
I mean, it definitely is one of the tips of one of his swords that's lodged
Yeah.
in the trunk.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
we knew it was a sword tip, and there's only one guy with swords in this game.
Yeah, now that we gave his back.
Oh no, Mr. Naruto. Surely you don't think...
Ha 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 ha! Come on, Ryonousuke. You know the rules. The only thing that really talks in the courtroom is hard evidence. As I understand it, Inspector Gregson always took that case with him when he traveled. So as it stands, you've proved nothing.
Kazuma, are you challenging me to prove it beyond all reasonable doubt? That you were there that day, in the same place as the inspector?
He was there. With Gregson.
There's a clue that you've overlooked, a secret that trunk can tell us. I can't be sure at this point, I'll need to verify it. But I have a nasty feeling that I'm going to be right.
Oh yeah.
The accusation being made is deeply disturbing, but nevertheless, we must test it. The defense will identify for the court where in this trunk the alleged clue is to be found. It's that little bit of metal.
Yeah.
Where is the evidence that ties Prosecutor Asuki to Inspector Gregson?
Can I open it
I think we had
first?
to open. Yeah.
Let's have a look inside.
Got it!
Got it! There's a small piece of metal lodged in the wall of the trunk here, like the tip of a blade. Hey, a blade? Kazuma, slung around your waist as ever today, is the esteemed blade Karama.
Of course it is.
Won't you draw it, here in this courtroom? For all to see.
I don't want to. Wait. Wait. Exercise caution, my learned friend. That man is the son of London's most notorious killer.
Bailiff, watch Prosecutor Ossigi like a hawk.
Okay.
But he's got a sword, he does.
I'm watching him and he's got a sword.
He's got a sword. Oh, he's stabbing someone with it.
Did you want me to do something when he did? Oh, I'm sorry. I
Oh,
misunderstood.
misunderstood.
Oh, blimey.
That won't be necessary.
Yeah, looks broken to me.
Yep. Tip's gone in it.
Oh no.
The tip is broken. If the fragment of metal from the trunk fits together with the end of that sword, the question of who was there with Inspector Gregson will be answered. Agreed, Kazuma Asagi.
Expertly done, Ryonousuke. That's a point to you, and well deserved.
Do you mean to tell the court, Prosecutor Ossigi?
Yes, on 31st October, I accompanied Inspector Gregson to Dunkirk in order to carry out a mission.
So the additional person authorized to travel
Was me.
And the mission was?
The assassination of the Mark.
What? What?
Gregson went to him and was like, "Hey, do you want to kill the guy that got your dad killed or some shit?"
You mean you're the killer whose name was omitted from this notebook? You were following the Reaper's orders to dispatch Judge Jigoku?
Let me make one thing perfectly clear. I have killed no one.
Explain.
I accepted the assassination mission, yes, and I accompanied Gregson to Dunkirk, but I never had any intention of carrying out the plan.
You were never going to do it.
We can believe Kazuma-sama, I'm sure. After all, Judge Jigoku arrived safely in London the following day.
On the 31st, I boarded a train from London with Inspector Gregson. We traveled to Dover, from where we crossed the Channel to Dunkirk. Then we boarded the SS Grouse and made for the cabin deck, as indicated in the plan.
You went to Judge Jigoku's cabin?
Exactly. He wasn't there, though. We decided to wait, but
But you've already told us you had no intention of going through with it anyway.
I didn't come to Great Britain to take anyone's life. So I left Gregson and disembarked the ship. I spent that night at a boarding house in the town and returned to England the following morning.
A boarding house in Dunkirk?
My signature will be in the register book. It would be simple enough to verify.
Then what became of Jigoku?
Gregson was no assassin, so the mark was spared. I'm sure it's easy enough to imagine what happened after that. Gregson returned to England as well, having failed to complete the mission. He met with the Reaper in that room on Fresno Street to report the failure. Why does that look like me?
That's not fair. You can't do that.
Who is that Pokemon? Causing the infuriated mastermind to pull the trigger and end his wretched agent's life. That's the real truth behind Inspector Gregson's murder.
Objection!
But if you did nothing as you claim, how did the tip of your sword come to be lodged in the inspector's trunk?
It's a good question, one that I was also asking.
I tripped. I don't need to answer that.
Huh?
The victim was killed by a gunshot. A small fragment of a Japanese blade isn't relevant to the case. And accordingly, I choose to exercise my right to silence on the matter.
Be that as it may, the court will sequester the sword as evidence.
As you wish, my lord.
The great sword Karama has been added to the court record.
We must take immediate action now to verify whether Seishiro Jigoku remains unharmed.
What? Remains unharmed?
I agree. That should be our first priority. It's recently come to my attention that he hasn't been seen since yesterday.
How did you...
When a foreign dignitary invited to Great Britain goes missing for 24 hours, it's only natural that the question of his safety should arise.
You don't mean to say that you think Judge Jigoku may have been killed?
The Reaper has more than one assassin at his disposal, and he has the power and influence to give orders from the inside of a prison cell. Isn't that right, Lord Van Zeeks? If I were truly the Reaper, I'd be able to tell you. But I am as much the Reaper as I am a vampire.
Order! Order in the court! We'll take an emergency recess for 30 minutes.
Now?
Guests of the symposium have been told to maintain regular contact with the organizer's office. The man can't be located within half an hour. We will have to assume the worst. Oh no, not Judge Jigoku.
No one would want to kill a harmless Japanese man who'd only just arrived in the country. Except, that is, for the Reaper, wanting to finish off a mark that slipped through the net 10 years ago.
I would have to agree. Mr. Naruto, for the defense's sake,
My lord?
I sincerely hope we are successful. If we're unable to confirm Mr. Jigoku's healthy existence in the next 30 minutes, you will face grave difficulties.
Ah,
Court is adjourned for 30 minutes.
huh.
I hope they find him and he's just like chilling somewhere. He's just like fucking eating a bagel.
Kazuma-sama, the Reaper's assassin. I feel as though I'm in a nightmare.
Can hardly believe it either. But on the other hand, Kazuma isn't in the habit of making up stories.
I have such a terrible sense of foreboding. Something awful has happened to Judge Jigoku. And I feel as though things will only spiral further and further out of control.
Whoa. I felt it from the moment I stepped into the courthouse this morning. That strange sensation that we were careening towards a foregone conclusion. Well, in the worst case, we might only have 30 minutes left. Unfortunately, though, I don't think there's anything we could do but wait now. We're out of options.
Pull the rabbit ears. Actually, there may be one last hand we can play. Or rather, one last ear.
Of course! The little Mr. Sholmes doll that Iris gave us. If for some reason you completely run out of options in the trial today, then just pull this little Hurley's ears as hard as you possibly can.
It explodes, knocking us both out.
Perhaps now is the time. What should I do? Pull Hurley's ears or not? Pull!
Pull
Pull! Here goes then. I'm going to do it. I'm gonna fucking do it.
Good. Good luck, Mr. Naruto.
No looking back. Heave! Ow!
That scream sounded like Mr. Sholmes.
Mr. Sholmes, where are you? Here, my dear fellow, here! It's the felt doll talking.
I'm sorry, what?
This is a device of some sort, surely.
It's like
It's
a
gotta be a
walkie-talkie?
doohickey. Yeah.
Pull the ears again, Mr. Naruto, as hard as you can.
All right, then. I'll pull all my strength into it. Heave! Ow! Please, my dear fellows, you don't need to pull my ear off.
It somehow tells the other one to pull on his physical ear. That doesn't make any sense.
It's very funny, though.
I was wondering where the other one was, because she does have 2 on her knapsack. I was gonna comment on them like 2 fucking streams ago. Like back when she had knocked out Mikotoba with the chest boxing glove. When we like were scanning around, I was like, oh, she's got little. Yeah, when we were like panning around her to see what was in her hand, I was like, oh, she's got little doohickeys on her backpack, like she's going to a convention.
Mr. Sholmes, where are you?
Myself and my trusty partner
Are
presently
on
in the first-class cabin area of the SS Grouse. The SS Grouse? She left Dover last night after the final pieces of cargo were loaded. Whoa, how did it do that? That was crazy.
See, that's the part that's confusing. Like, it being a very tiny radio is already crazy for this day and age, but how is it, like, moving and pulling his ear?
It's a little automaton. We're currently docked at Dunkirk, but due to be underway again in half an hour. You've taken a ship to France? Please, even with my athletic prowess, I would struggle to jump the Straits of Dover. After we left Baker Street last night, we hurried by cab to the station and by train to the port, in order to board this vessel in time. So, you mean you already worked it out? That the steamship was where everything really took place? Mr. Naruto, pray, what is my name? Sherlock Sholmes, world-famous great detective. Recited to perfection, well done.
You're a genius, Mr. Sholmes. That's the only word for it.
Ow, 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 ow. Miss Susato, gently with this genius's ear, please.
Oh my, I'm ever so sorry.
If I may, Sholmes. I assume. Ah, there you are, Mikotoba. You may remember that it was in fact I who made the connection to the SS Grouse. At Scotland Yard yesterday when we examined that notebook and I recalled my steamship ticket. But of course it was, my dear fellow. And not once did I controvert that fact. I merely had our court-bound companions under my name. Yes, you did, didn't you? We've just entered a recess.
For this, huh?
Yeah. We've just entered a recess. The trial resumes in 30 minutes from now.
If we're unable to present any new leads, then I'm afraid to say.
Do not fret, please. It's for precisely that purpose that my partner and I have made this journey. I have no doubt we shall have welcome news for you within the half hour. Thank you,
Yeah,
Mr.
how on
Sholmes.
earth are we going to explain this to the court? Yeah, I'm talking into this rabbit, which is connected somehow wirelessly in the 1800s to a man who is in France.
It's a radio existed, right? Kind of.
In the year 1800?
I don't know. When was the radio invented?
I'm pretty sure after that. The first radio broadcast was in 1906.
Sorry, I was taking a drink. It's probably fine. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. That would be wonderful. Until later, then. Yes, you'll be hearing from us if you're not in touch first. Ow, 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 ow. I shan't be hearing anything if you keep tugging my ear in that mindless fashion. Whatever was the idea behind making a receiver operated that way in the first place, Mr. Sholmes? Why the deuce would I know? It's Iris's invention, not mine.
Why the deuce? This is worse than the cat door hole-inator. This makes even less sense.
Whilst I know how much you enjoy being the hero of the hour, Sholmes, we have but half that now before the grouse puts to sea again. If we don't conclude our investigations rapidly, we shall find ourselves in Naples before long. There are times, Mikotoba, when you make a surprising amount of sense. So, let us begin. Hey! It's Beef Stroganoff.
It's him.
What's he doing on... Wait a minute, this is a different ship.
Maybe he works
First class cabin number 2. Yes, this is the one. But I don't believe an investigation of the cabin is going to be plain sailing. Maybe this isn't Beef Stroganoff. Maybe this is his brother or something.
No.
The hair
They look
is
very
different.
similar, but the hair is different.
That crewman standing in front of the door is an angry-looking fellow.
I guess I'll be this since you're
Yeah.
the other two guys.
You're in here. Who are you?
My dear fellow, do you not recognize a world-famous great detective when you see one? The question really ought to be, who are you?
Do you not recognize world-traveling great sailor Chicken
Stroganoff?
Stroganoff? When you see?
Yes, Sholmes.
Why does his
written
arm
on his
say
arm.
Sholmes?
Oh no.
Great detective? Ha, I don't think so.
Do you see that, Mikotoba? It would appear that this man is a devoted follower of mine. Goodness me, is that a tattoo that says Sholmes? I must say, while such adoration is flattering naturally, it does leave me a little cold.
What are you talking about? Leave now!
How distressing. My loyal devotee knows me only by name and not by appearance. And yet, I already know a great deal about you, sir. You have a brother, I believe. Like yourself, he's a shipman. Jesus. Currently traveling aboard a Russian steamship, in fact.
And he sounds very different than you.
How could you know this?
Elementary, my dear Mikotoba. I'm sure it was. 3 days ago, I was bound for London aboard this ship, you see. We're looking for one of my fellow passengers, a man by the name of Jigoku.
There's no one with this name on board.
But we know that he purchased a ticket for passage.
Ah, you mean Eastern Man. He left ship 2 hours ago. Here at Dunkirk. He said something about emergency, I think.
What? Are you sure? So Sheisho's realized that we're after him, has he? His cabin is the one behind you. We should like to investigate, please.
No, there's not to let even mouse inside.
I'll be honest, the entire reason I'm doing like a bad Mickey Mouse is because I saw the rat trap on the ground and I thought it'd be funny. That was it. That was the
Mikotoba.
entire connection point.
Be a good man and draw the sailor's attention away, would you? Make up some excuse that he leaves the area. I'm standing right here.
Doesn't great detective see that even sailors have ears both left and right?
Curses! The plan is ruined. And you have only yourself to blame, I'm afraid, Sholmes. These two voices back to back are going to kill me.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're kind of cooked, brother.
Forget it! Cabin door is locked. Even if I am not here, you cannot get inside.
Mikotoba, I'm sure you haven't forgotten my special talent, have you? Opening any lock? Within a mere 5 seconds. So if you'd be so kind as to afford me the requisite time, old friend, in your typically accommodating manner. How could I refuse such a typically unappealing request, old friend? Do I need to distract that burly sailor for 5 seconds, do I? Good man. So, the game is afoot. Well,
Do we have anything to present? Hold on, I'm curious.
no. I don't
No,
even have
we
a
can't
call
even
record
go over there.
button.
Damn.
Alright, well this seems like a good enough place to stop as any, I suppose. I don't know how long this little diversion's gonna be, but... Alright, well, next week we get to, I'm assuming, hit this man with a rat trap or something. Just get him
Yeah, I
to
was
stick
gonna
his
say.
hand in it.
There's a real Chekhov's rat trap over there.
Yeah. Or Stroganov's rat trap, as it were. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good night. We'll catch you tomorrow for Pokemon. Bye-bye.